In this episode of Detroit Performs, an artist pursues and shares her passion for clay, an art therapist, and teaching theatrics. It's all ahead on this edition of Detroit Performs.
Funding for Detroit Performs is provided by
Masco Corporation is proud to manufacture innovative and environmentally friendly products for the home. Delta faucets, craft-made in Merillat cabinets, and Behr brand paints have all been designed with you in mind. Masco and its family of companies, serving Michigan communities since 1929.
Funding is also provided by the Michigan Council for Arts and Cultural Affairs, the National Endowment for the Arts, the A. Paul and Carol C. Scott Foundation, and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to Detroit Performs. I am here with Leslie Greeneisen.
Hi there.
Now Leslie, you own this pottery shop here.
I do own this shop.
So
Yes.
tell me about what we're going to be making today.
Today we're going to make some little tiny houses. They are almost the size of a fairy house. It's for an art installation that is going up in the hallway.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of public art and community art. And this way the community can participate in that piece of public art.
And this is for beginners like me too?
It's for everybody.
All right,
Yep.
I look forward to that. All right, before we get started on that, let's find out a little bit more about what Leslie does here at Park.
I'm just a middle-aged lady doing her thing. I always had art involved in my life, always had pottery to fall back on as my hobby. And through the years, it's just developed into more and more and more of a passion. And now it's my livelihood. I opened my own studio in September of 2015. I was fortunate enough to be one of the first ones through the door when they turned Park into an arts and recreation complex. When I do my work, it's really fun, and everyone is different. There are no two pieces alike. A lot of my work is whimsical as well as serious, and I just love to watch people look at the pieces that are there and giggle. That's what I want. I want them to make it part of their daily grin, have fun with it. I think we don't get enough grins and giggles because we're always in these times searching for something more. I gotta do more, I gotta go more, I have to be more. So for people to pause and look at a piece that I've created and get a smile from it, I think it's better health, mental health for everybody. I find my inspiration for my work in a lot of different places. I love making high relief tiles, and I also love nature. So the tiles that I make are a series of wildflowers for the Great Lakes. Fishing. Fish are kind of my thing. I like to carve fish and do those on my lanterns. The other functional pieces that I make are big bowls. I have things called grate plates because you can grate garlic and ginger and nutmeg in these plates, and their oil dipping dishes kind of go along with that. So the work that goes into my sculptures and functional pieces, almost all of them are thrown at the potter's wheel, and then they're all altered. The man and the moons that I make, throw those at the wheel, then I will create the face, and everyone's done individually. For the big sculptures and the big carvings, the lanterns that I like to do, those can take up to 20 hours to create. So it's weeks of work that it takes to go into those. Then they're hopefully dried properly, and then they get fired once, they get glazed, and then fired again. My favorite thing would be carving lanterns, both tall ones and small ones. I like to draw on them first, and those drawings can take me 4 or 5 hours, then carve them, then embellish them. So it's just a labor of love. I've come up with a vase that I haven't seen anywhere else, and it's taking into it part of my carving and part of my cutting away. So it looks kind of like a lantern, but it's a vase. There's a lot of people who say that when you're making, you get into a zone. And it's so true with pottery. You start working and you get in a zone. It just makes life better for me. I never thought that I would get here. Always knew in the back of my mind that this is what I would eventually like to do, and just didn't ever see it as coming to fruition at this scale. I have known for a long time that I wanted to teach and wanted to teach kids, and I just decided it was time to do that. So we can go right off the seam. Is that good? Yep. Those that can attend the art camps are anybody from 6 to 17 years old. I have different camps for different age groups, and I have different themes for each week. The theme for this camp was cartoon sculptures. And so today they were making a mug, and then they were putting a cartoon character on there. The kids in camps get the basic instructions of how to put the piece together. After that, they can do their own thing.
I wanted to come to this camp because it's fun to play with clay.
I like that you can sculpt it in any way you want. If you're thinking of something, you can pretty much do it.
I like how it feels. It kind of feels like slime, and I like to just play with it and kind of make stuff with it.
I think that you really gain a lot of life skills when you're making art or when you're making. And in this day and age where a 6-month-old knows how to use a phone, I think that we're getting away from knowing how to use our hands and knowing how to make things. And that's what art brings to the table. And it goes back to allowing kids to understand success and allowing kids to make their own mark in the world through their art.
I thought it was really fun to do Mickey Mouse for the mug because I really wanted to make it funny and artistic.
And the smaller this loop, the better, because it gets real fragile.
If you want to make something, she really tries to make it happen, and she helps you out with everything.
Use this part of your hand and roll it on there, give it a little smush. Yes, ma'am.
I made Bill's Cipher from Gravity Falls and a whistle that's a bird.
I made a sculpture yesterday of Mr. Krabs, and I made a whistle, and it was a fish.
I'm proud. I think they turned out pretty good, so I'm happy with them.
So you're cutting through the back of the house
Okay.
to make your roof line.
Okay.
And it's just like cutting through pastry dough.
Pretty much. I mean, it's kind of smooth,
It's
but
soft and pliable.
not really the best cutter here.
It's okay.
All right. So work in progress. I am a
We're
beginner.
not going to grade you.
Okay. I don't even want to know what my grade would be. All right, before we find out about that, let's check out musician and visual artist Karianne Spens-Hanna.
There's something in the air tonight, something I don't want to have to fight, oh no, fight no more. It's my birthday and I'm 30. All I want is you next to me, saying, baby, you still look 23. Let's go back to when we first met, where the palm trees swaying and I don't speak no language yet.
I had a woman reach out to me who I went to high school with, and she said that she was playing some of my music that I had just performed for a Front Porch concert series earlier in the day. And unbeknownst to her, her kids were listening. And one of her children has autism. And usually Nora Jones or Jack Johnson kind of helps settle him down and reduce symptoms of the autism. And he usually has I guess you'd call them tantrums, and so the music just helps calm them down. And so she didn't realize her kids were listening to the music, and so he was asking for new song, and she didn't know what he was talking about, but her other kid told her that he wanted to hear the song she was listening to on the computer earlier that day, which was my song. And she was just sifting through Facebook, and it popped up, and it resonated with the child. And so it really gave me this idea that to spread music around, I want to send it to people who it would help. And that's sort of a goal of mine with music and with art in general, is that I want to connect with people, and I want to help people through my craft.
Right now we are going to the Macomb County Juvenile Justice Center, and we're going here because I am an art therapist as well as visual artist and musician. So I come here and I make art with the youth, and have different projects we do that help them de-stress, helps them goal set, and helps mitigate any type of tension or emotional conflict that they're having.
Central, this is Miss Karianne checking with Radio GF3.
Art therapy is a mental health profession, and it uses different art media to help people. And it does that by externalizing things that we hold inside. It works really well for everyone, but it works especially well for people that have been through trauma. So the brain stores trauma in the visual parts of the brain and not verbal parts. So a lot of times people don't have words to express the things that they've been through, but they can make art about it. A lot of what I do with the kids at the JJC is all about that. It's about providing trauma-informed care that helps them express what they've been through the visual language rather than the verbal language. We do spend some time discussing what they've made after the art therapy session, and that's really important too, because it moves the visual part of the creative process into the verbal side of the brain. So discussing it helps them put words to their experience as well, and to the artwork that they've made. Doing portraiture with the kids at the JJC has been a really integral part of my process with them. I do a lot of portraiture outside in my own personal art practice, so it was a natural thing for me to bring that tool into the setting as well. And what happens when we make portraits together is I sit with them for about 20 minutes and we're just looking at each other, and it becomes this really beautiful, raw, intimate moment between two people. And it's like, I see you, and I'm gonna sit with you, and I'm gonna reflect back to you what I see. And they're just thrilled with the pictures afterwards. It's very sweet, and a lot of them will put their own spin on the portrait, which I love, and I highly encourage them to do so. It's just been a very gratifying experience for all of us, and I'm happy that I can provide that for them.
I bring this experience into my own personal artwork by thinking about the information processing systems that we go through in our brain. So we can be on a kinesthetic level, we can be processing on a perceptual level or cognitive level, and what that means is if we're making art and we're just pounding clay or like really into cutting things or doing things that are very physical, then that's the kinesthetic level. And what the art therapy does is it blends all of these into one. So you're using multiple parts of your brain while you're making artwork. So when I try to make my own work, I try to utilize the physicality of that and also do symbology, so it's more on a cognitive level, and also try to think about the affect that it's having on me as well. So I'm constantly shifting between all these different effects that art therapy can have on people and putting that into play in my own practice. It's also very healing. So the art for me has always gotten me through having anxiety and bouts of depression. It really pulls you through whatever you're going through. So even though I didn't know it as a kid, I was doing art therapy on myself. So I think that's when I discovered that there was a career like this. It just fit because I had been doing it for years for myself anyway.
The flowers there, look at that shutter. I like that. You guys are pros, okay? Professionals at this. Now, why I admire them, you guys check out some upcoming events happening in and around the D.
I'm gonna have, because I'm being a little quick on it, I'll have some striping of the color. It's not solid, so I'll have these nice little strokes, brush strokes showing up.
Brush strokes, okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I've gotten to that level yet. But while I figure it out, how about you guys check out this theater that for years now has been inspiring children to chase their dreams.
Theater helps kids learn in different ways. It nurtures teamwork and cooperation,
Time now to give a cheer.
creativity, imagination.
I'm 102.
It bridges a gap or makes a connection with the other aspects of learning.
We're gonna do it one more time. Go from the very top, and then after that, everyone who is in Miss Saigon, head over to the theater, okay?
It's very inclusive. Everyone's just working together for the same goal. Young Actor Stage is a children's theater company. We started in 2008. It was right when all of the cuts were happening in the school district. The arts were being decimated. We were losing music and art programs, and there was definitely no time for a school play in the curriculum. My mother was a teacher in the district, and she introduced me to her principal, who was very supportive of the arts. And she allowed me to start an after-school class, one day a week at the school. We started out with 11 kids, and now I'm teaching hundreds every year.
It is an amazing experience for everyone coming from different schools, different places, different neighborhoods, different communities, and you get to all come together and put on a performance.
Sharing the sky.
It's crazy. She has all these little kids. I mean, we're talking first graders through sixth graders, and she puts on this amazing play, and you're like, what? How did she get all those kids to do it?
Coming up with the show itself is always a challenge. It's really hard to decide which one. We've done Alice in Wonderland, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Annie Jr., Beauty and the Beast, Little Mermaid, Music Man, Bye Bye Birdie, Sound of Music, Les Mis, Peter Pan, Mulan, Miss Saigon, and The Addams Family. I'm sure I left out a couple. Depending on the show we're doing, we have about 8 weeks of the rehearsal process.
Having to come up with a character and think about the ways that they're thinking and how they're reacting and finding motivations for those actions, and you really develop your character so that when you go on stage you don't have to think about it. Everything comes organically.
I do believe that skills that I've learned, speaking and just how to be a better version of myself, I feel like I've really kind of immersed my own character in who I am since I've joined Young Actor Stage, and it's really been just helpful to, it's easier for me to make friends, it's easier for me to just kind of be myself.
It's just been an amazing experience. I'm so thankful that Leora came and started this program. I would never have looked for a theater program for my daughter. I mean, she found something that she really loved doing and finding her passion. I think that is just so important, that you want your kid to love what they do.
The parents are an integral part in the process. We would not be able to do it without them. They help with the crew positions and the costumes and building the set and getting the word out, the marketing in the front of the house. There's so many moving parts to putting on a production.
I think that it's important for anybody to have an opportunity like this, because I think that it kind of brings out that interpersonality in you that you might not have known.
I have definitely become more confident.
I am in love.
I've played so many different characters. In this past summer, I was in Miss Saigon and the Addams Family. So on the same day, I would be Uncle Fester and Showgirl. So I'd have to go backstage, put my bald cap on.
It's our goal to bring a quality performing arts program to the community and instill a love of the theater.
I love going on stage and being somebody else for a couple hours. I think it's really important that people just have that outlet for themselves, because arts, it's a reflection of life.
I hope they leave with more confidence. I hope they leave with a better sense of self and community, and they can look back at their time here and think of it as a family and have wonderful memories, and that it takes them somewhere with what they've learned.
So stay with me and hold me tight and dance like it's the last night of the
I think I am done.
Nicely done. It's beautiful.
Thank you. I never thought I would turn out to be a potter. Look at that.
You are a potter.
Not bad.
It'll go up on the wall with honor and join all the others up there.
This has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Appreciate this. And that wraps it up for this edition of Detroit Performs. As always, for more arts and culture, head to DetroitPerforms.org, where you'll find featured videos, blogs, and information on upcoming arts events. Also, check us out on Facebook and Twitter. I'd like to thank the park and Leslie Greeneisen for having us out here today. So Leslie, where can people go to find out more about this workshop and where to take it?
So we have a website. It's at www.centralparkartstudios.org, and we're also on Facebook.
Okay, well, I will check that out because I want to come back here for show.
Thank you.
All right, until next Tuesday, get out there and show the world how Detroit performs, y'all. I'm DJ Oliver. Thanks for watching, guys. So what now? We're gonna burn this thing?
So now we're going to let it dry.
Okay.
And we'll put it in the kiln.
Funding for Detroit Performs is provided by
Masco Corporation is proud to manufacture innovative and environmentally friendly products for the home. Delta faucets, craft-made in Merillat cabinets, and Behr brand paints have all been designed with you in mind. Masco and its family of companies, serving Michigan communities since 1929.
Funding is also provided by the Michigan Council for Arts and Cultural Affairs, the National Endowment for the Arts, the A. Paul and Carol C. Scott Foundation, and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.